Hi, this is Robert, just reviewing the Minnesota Vikings versus Jacksonville Jaguars game and the remaining games in the playoff scenario. Well, the Vikings had a good game, a good win over the Jaguars on Sunday, 25-16, and surprisingly, after all the turmoil, beginning 5-0 start and then losing 4 games, another 2 games, the Vikings are still in contention for the playoffs. It's probably unlikely, but they are still statistically in the playoff hunt. Now, at the moment, they're lying in 8th place in the NFC conference standings, and there's just 6 places in the playoffs, but they are in 8th place with a 7-win and 6-loss record, and the 6th spot at the moment is, if the playoffs were held today, is Tampa Bay with a record of 8 wins and 5 losses. So to take the place of Tampa Bay in the 6th spot, Tampa Bay would have to lose 2 games for the Vikings to take the last wildcard spot. They would have to win out though the last 3 games, winning and taking on a record of 10 wins and 6 losses, and to take the NFC North spot, which is currently held by the Detroit Lions with a 9-win and 4-loss record. The Lions would have to lose their last 3 games for the Vikings to take over as the NFC North champions, because the Detroit Lions have the tiebreaker over the Vikings with virtue of winning their 2 games home and away. So overall, the Vikings are still in the playoff hunt. So really, they need to win their last 3 games, which is against our next one at home on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts, and then away to the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Never an easy task, especially when the Packers have now found some form with a big win over the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday, and then the final game against the Chicago Bears back at the US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And of course, Chicago their season's over, but of course you can't count them out, because they had a big win over the Vikings when they had a 1-6 record. So the Vikings were in a middle of a slump at that time, and the Bears had their quarterback Jay Cutler returning from injury, which seems to spark their play. So the Vikings played the Bears at the wrong time, but that's the scene at the moment. The Vikings needing to win their last 3 games to stay in the playoff hunt, and hoping some of the teams above them lose some games. So they can only do what is in their own control, is to win their games. Other teams like the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they depend on them from other teams to beat them, but that's out of their control. So the Vikings just need to win. First of all, they've got to win all their own games. So as always, Skol Vikings.